Hello and welcome to the Literary Lair. Last month, we lost one of the greatest actors of all time, Adam West, who for many people was the definitive Batman, and his portrayal of the Bright Knight on the 1966 television series is one of the best portrayals of Batman that there has ever been. Until recently, I was never really a comic book reader, and even now I don't read the Batman comics. My exposure to Batman when I was a kid came from two main sources: the DC animated universe, including Batman the Animated Series, Justice League, and Batman Beyond, and reruns of the Adam West Batman series that would run on TV Land, plus the occasional VHS tape checked out from the library featuring the dynamic duo's campy adventures. While Kevin Conroy is my Batman, Adam West still holds a place in my heart as one of the greatest actors to ever wear the cowl, and since his passing last month, I struggled to find a way to pay tribute to him. My initial instinct was to review the novelization of Final Crisis, but I think that might be a little too on the nose, considering that it deals with the death of Batman. Plus, I want to showcase Adam West specifically, and not Batman in general. So I decided that the only way that I could do it would be with a countdown of my favorite characters he's played throughout television and movies. As most know, the cast of the 1966 Batman show, namely Adam West, Burt Ward, and Yvonne Craig, suffered from typecasting after the show's cancellation, much like the actors in the original Star Trek, but unlike the original Star Trek, they didn't get 6 movies to revitalize their careers. But that doesn't mean that Adam West faded into obscurity. There's a reason that everyone felt a punch to the gut when they heard of his passing. Anyway, it's time to count down my top 11 Adam West performances. To the theme song, old chum. Number 11. Batman. Duh. Yeah, we're getting this out of the way first. Obviously, based on what I said in the intro, Adam West's Batman was a huge influence on my perception of the character when I was growing up. So naturally, it was going to be on the list. The only reason he's not number 1 is because 1, I want to retain some surprise over the number 1 spot, and 2, out of respect, as to not have the entire point of this list to be leading up to the one role that he's known for. I'd rather spend the list spotlighting his mostly non-Batman roles, though there are some exceptions. I dislike dark and gritty superheroes. That's not to say that I hate the Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan Batman movies. I like them for the most part, but I like campy superheroes, and Adam West's portrayal of Batman is one of the finest there is, and may possibly be the best there ever was. He's one of the first actors to see the comic potential of Batman. He doesn't have to be grim and gritty, he can be funny too. Even tragic heroes can tell jokes. West understood that, and it's why, despite the show being so different from the modern Batman, it still endured to this day as a classic. It took the goofy camp of the Silver Age and gave it a whole new life on television, and I commend West for his brilliant portrayal of the so-called Bright Knight. It doesn't take a great actor to put on a gravelly voice and beat people into a pulp. It takes a brilliant actor to do the Batusi. Plus, West proved that he still had it in him when he returned to the role 50 years later for the animated feature The Return of the Caped Crusaders last year, which was goofy as all hell, but totally in keeping with the show's silliness. Plus, it did well enough to warrant a sequel with Two-Face as played by another man, defined by one role from a silly 60s series. Number 10. Zombie Nightmare. So this one is also a bit of a cheat because I like this more so because it was later riffed on MST3K by Mike and the Bots, and less so as a movie in general. But Adam West is one of the bright spots of this movie, apart from the riffing. And a good chunk of the riffing plays off of West's past as the Cape Crusader. So that makes it doubly hilarious to hear them mimic West's cadence and reference characters from the Batman show like Chief O'Hara. It's one of the funniest MST3K episodes out there. The only problem I have with it is that Adam West is top billed, yet he doesn't appear until almost an hour into the film. He plays his part well, and it's a departure from Batman, him actually being the bad guy, so it shows that he has versatility and range that wasn't really utilized in his immediate post-Batman career as much as it should have. I'm sure this could have been a classic of West's filmography, if the movie wasn't such a stinkburger. I like it more as an MST3K episode than as a zombie movie, but either way, Adam West is one of the best things in it. Number 9, Young Mermaid Man. Regardless of what you might think about the current iteration of Spongebob and whether or not it should have ended following the movie, one opinion that I think is universal is that the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes are among the best of the show. Whether or not the post-movie ones are the same caliber is a matter of personal preference, but I think that those are still pretty solid. Plus, one of those gave us the crossover that I'm sure no one demanded, but it's still pretty damn cool. Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were pastiches of Batman and Robin, specifically the versions from the 60s series, so having an episode where they go into the past and their younger selves are voiced by the dynamic duo themselves is brilliant. And West and Ward do spectacular jobs with it, even though their contributions are limited, and the bulk of the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy dialogue is given by their regular actors. Despite that, it's still pretty damn awesome to have the inspirations for the characters to show up and fight alongside them. Number 8. Thomas Wayne. One of my favorite tropes for rebooted or remade media is having cameo appearances from actors who were in other versions. Like how, strictly sticking to comic book related media, Barry Allen's father in the CW Flash series is played by John Wesley Shipp, who played Barry Allen in the 1990 Flash series. Or how Supergirl has a whole host of cameos, with Alex's parents being Dean Cain, who played Superman on Lois and Clark, and Helen Slater, who played Supergirl in the 1984 film. Plus, Mon-El's mother was Terry Hatcher, who was the Lois Lane to Dean Cain's Clark Kent. So it should come as no surprise to you that one of my favorite episodes of Batman the Brave and the Bold, a series that took a lighter tone to pay homage to the Silver Age and the 60s Batman show, is the episode where Adam West gets to play another member of the Wayne family, Bruce's father, Thomas Wayne, but not only in a flashback to the fateful night in Crime Alley. He also gets to fight crime with Batman, which makes it all the better. The only thing better than one Batman is two Batman. Or three Batman. Really, any number higher than one Batman is better than one Batman. And while it's only a cameo, it's still awesome to have Adam West playing the father of his most famous character. And the episode also features Batman finally confronting Joe Chill, which makes his cameo even more special. Plus, Martha Wayne is voiced by Julie Newmar, who played Catwoman on the 60s Batman show, giving Thomas and Martha brilliant chemistry in their scenes together, since West and Newmar acted together for 2 seasons. Even more amazing is that the Phantom Stranger and the Spectre, who orchestrate the time travel that allows Bruce to team up with his father, are played by Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, making this actually a team-up of 3 Batmen, 1 Catwoman, and 1 Joker. I feel like there should have been an episode of the 60s Batman show where that actually happened. Number 7, Jonathan K. Martin. Growing up, a lot of my television habits grew out of me watching whatever was rerun on Nick at Night. Home Improvement, Roseanne, The Nanny, and George Lopez were a few of the shows that I watched pretty much religiously because they were on every night when I was watching Nick. And one of the good storylines from George Lopez involved George's mom going to jail for a crime she committed when she was younger. And while it already had some heavy hitters like how George's grandmother is played by Rita Moreno, they went the extra mile and have Adam West playing her attorney. And without factoring in the actor, his dialogue is hilarious as it is. but him having Adam West's voice and cadence of speech makes the dialogue even more hilarious. Case in point, I had seen the episodes he was in many times when I was younger, but when I rewatched them for research for this video, I was laughing like it was the first time I heard them. And I mean, how can I not love this character when it allowed me to hear Adam West say the words, "I hit it," and then proceeded to quit it? See? I bet you're laughing just imagining it. What will come next on the list? What will be Michael's #1 pick? Will Michael ever mention Captain Blasto? Answers after the break. Same Scarab time, same Scarab channel. Before the break, we were halfway through the list. Now, the exciting conclusion. Number 6, Vic Webster. Yeah, MASH might be my favorite Army hospital show, but my favorite hospital show is Emergency. And it had a lot of famous guest stars during its run, like John Travolta, Nick Nolte, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Yvonne Craig. But also, naturally, Adam West. Though, admittedly, like Spongebob, it's really just a cameo appearance. Sure, we get to see Adam West get rescued from a bear, but then he invites them to the titular bash, then he's not seen again for the trichinosis subplot or the hostage subplot, and then he shows up again at the end when they get to the party. I mean, West plays the character great. He's playing an actor, but he's not an asshole actor. He's a genuinely nice guy, even if his parties suck, and are sort of lethal. West gives in a good performance, though really the reason it's so high up is because it's a really good episode of Emergency, with an interesting medical plot and a really bizarre fire plot. Plus, it's got Adam West, Randolph Mantooth, and Kevin Teague running away from a bear on a studio set who keeps managing to block every edge that they find, which alone makes the episode worth it to watch. Number 5, Mayor West. Public opinion on Family Guy and Seth MacFarlane himself is not exactly high, but even someone who hates Family Guy to their core can't deny that the abject lunacy of Mayor West is one of the best things about the show. And the best part is, unlike most of the performances on the list, the hilarity doesn't hinge on his past as Batman. In fact, they only ever make one reference to Adam West as Batman, and it's in a non-canon Family Guy as a show within a show episode that's supposed to be taking place in reality. Is Family Guy a crappy show? Probably, but any episode with Adam West in it is worth watching because they give him so much material, and he makes comedy gold out of every line he recites on the show. Be it reciting the lyrics to the Gem and the Holograms theme song, fighting the ocean, or killing the Noid. The show might be garbage, but Adam West manages to make at least some of the garbage tolerable by being the funniest member of the cast. Number 4. The Grey Ghost. I know a good chunk of you were waiting in the comments to blast me for not including this, and some of you probably still will blast me for not making it number 1, but if I can explain myself, this is an episode that I didn't see as a kid, or if I did, I don't remember it, so I only ever saw it when I was older, and nostalgia won the top 3 spots, but it's a superb episode of Batman the Animated Series. Plus, it plays off of West's actual issues of typecasting, though I hope that he didn't have to resort to selling his Batman costume to a crazy toy collector. Like I said before, the only thing better than one Batman is two Batmen, and even if that episode technically had 3 since they had both Conroy and West in it, I like this one better for the story and because of how seriously West gives his performance. It's not campy at all. He's genuinely giving off the vibe of an actor who is only known for one show and hates that. Plus, the realism in his actual fear when Batman confronts him to join him. It's a team-up that features both of my childhood Batman, and Conroy and West perfectly act off of each other, with their 2 very different acting styles coming together to form awesome character interactions. It's just a shame that we never got to see Simon Trent team up with Batman again, and a shame that we never saw if the Grey Ghost had any sidekicks. But it's an episode that pays homage to one of the reasons that Batman has persisted in the non-comic book reading public consciousness, and it couldn't have been done with any other actor. Number 3. Timothy North, Fearless Ferret. Like I said, nostalgia won the top 3 spots. When I was a kid, this was my favorite episode of Kim Possible, purely because it had Adam West in it. As an actor who, unlike Simon Trent, completely embraces his past as the Fearless Ferret, even if he wasn't a real superhero. Plus, this episode is basically the Kim Possible version of Batman Beyond, since Ron stumbles into the ferret hole like Terry McGinnis did, and becomes the next version of the reclusive old man's signature character. Though I think Conroy can pull off grumpy old recluse better than West can. If the episode wasn't already great enough, his arch-rival White Stripe is voiced by Dr. Cox. It's great watching it because we get to have another team-up of Batman, though this time it's 2 generations of Batman, but we also have all the campy elements of the Batman mythos, with the Fearless Ferret TV show being exactly like Adam West's Batman show, though without a human sidekick. It's a great episode of Kim Possible, and it's a great performance from West, giving us the other side of the coin to the Grey Ghost, showing us an old actor who never stopped being the hero that he pretended to be on TV. Number 2. Catman. Like I said, I grew up with the 60s Batman show, so anything that references that is going to be high up on the list. Fairly Odd Parents was my favorite Nickelodeon show when I was a kid for a while, and my favorite episodes were always the one that featured TV's Adam West.
Where? I love that gag.
Much like Family Guy, Books Hartman always gives West a lot of good material to work with, and Catman is as beloved to me as a superhero as Batman is. And his debut episode had Timmy's dad eschew gender stereotypes to enter a beauty pageant, so how much better can it get? Really, I don't have a lot to say about this other than it was one of the shows that I watched a lot as a kid, and Adam West's episodes were rerun a lot, so I've probably seen Catman more than Batman at this point. The fact that he's pretty much always in character and has stuff like the cat pen and kitty litter on his utility belt to help save the day in his feline ways always made for a great episode. I might actually go back and watch some of them because while I haven't seen them in years, I remember West's episodes being really funny. And I think he's one of Adam West's best characters he's ever played. But not the best. That is yet to come. Number 1. Adam West. Yes, Adam West is my favorite character that Adam West has played. And I already hear you telling me that Catman and Mayor West are Adam West too, so it's a cop-out, but allow me to justify this. I'm referring specifically to Adam West playing himself in shows that are supposed to be set in some form of reality, like his guest spots on The Big Bang Theory or 30 Rock, or a lesser version of reality on The Simpsons or Futurama. Though specifically the one I'm referring to with this is his portrayal of a fictionalized version of himself in Return to the Batcave, The Misadventures of Adam and Bert, a made-for-TV movie that featured West and Ward reunited to solve the mystery of who stole the Batmobile, while reminiscing about the origins of the series. The culprits eventually turned out to be Julie Newmar, who was working with Frank Gorshin, who played the Riddler because they believed that the villains were the stars of the show, and that they should have rightfully gotten to win the day. It's silly, campy, and exactly in the spirit of the original show. Plus, it gives a lot of behind-the-scenes info, like how Burt Ward got injured almost every day of shooting, because all the dangerous stunts required him to be close to the camera. It's got in-jokes galore, and Adam West plays this fictionalized version of himself in the exact way that was needed. A delusional old man who still believes he's Batman, even calling his butler Alfred, even though his name is Jerry. And his house has a bat pole to the garage. Though what sets this Adam West character apart is that he's not shown being derisive to his sidekick. Sure, he makes Burt Ward pay for everything, but he treats Burt like an equal, which makes this Adam West better than the rest. And factoring in his various appearances on television shows, like his appearances on Big Bang Theory and The Simpsons, it's even better as he derides the newer Batman for needing molded plastic to give them muscles, while his was, in his words,
100% Grade A West.
To many, myself included, he'll always be Batman, but I always liked him better when he wasn't wearing the cowl and was just being himself. A fictionalized, diluted version of himself, but pure West, regardless. Anyway, those were my top 11 Adam West performances. He did a lot of work in his 60-odd year career, and, at least for a lot of people I know, shaped childhoods and adulthoods alike, and cultivated a love of not only Batman, but comic book superheroes for years to come. He was a part of my life from when I was very young, and to me, this hurt just like it did losing Leonard Nimoy and Wayne Rogers. The world is now darker without him to bring laughter into it, though thankfully he left behind a few projects, so we'll be able to see new Adam West material a few more times. You can have your Afflecks and Bales and Keatons, even your Kilmers and Clooneys. But me, I'll stick with good old Adam Wee. Goodbye, old chum. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to see more of the Literary Lair, you can hit that subscribe button. And if you have any comments or complaints about the video, you can put those in the comments section below. And if you want to be notified of when I post new videos, hit that bell icon near the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, show it to your friends and share it around the internet. And maybe consider supporting the show on Patreon. See you next time. Any luck with the scouting yet? So far, I've only found one, but he's from an uncharted universe. Uncharted? What does that mean? A universe that isn't contained in any of the databases that I have access to. I don't know his name or what he does. All I know is that he's my double and he's a match. So that's it then, huh? It would seem so. It's been a few months of trolling, and this is the first thing that we've gotten that resembles a match. I don't have time to wait any longer. I don't even have time to scout him out. So are we doing it now? No, we'll do it in a week. I have some affairs to get in order, you know. In case it, doesn't work. Don't talk like that. All I'm doing is leaving a detailed list of instructions for my double. If I'm gone and he comes looking for a cure, you can just give him what I have. You're going to make it. I hope you're right. I really do.